paying attention to your surroundings. And a lot of times that it keeps you out of a lot of situations, because when you see something, pay attention to what you're looking at. If it looks suspicious, it's suspicious. If a person looks suspicious, they suspicious. And so you want to move away from it. And the best type of defense is avoidance. And being able to keep the distance from a person. And I'll do a little demonstration a little bit later. And and as I go through, if you got any questions, just stop me. I'll answer them. If not, then at the end, if there's anything that you can think of that you want me to talk about, or something that is pressing on your mind, feel free to ask it. And I'll take any question at the end. And so, as what I'm talking about, being aware of surroundings, and it looks suspicious, it's suspicious. And and so, and you have to trust that that inner man inside you a lot of times, because a lot of times we respond to calls, and the person's like, well, I feel like someone's right, but they move a certain way anyway, and got attacked. And most crimes that occur, dealing with women, somebody trying to attack them or snatching their purse or something like that, those are crimes of opportunity, which means that the victim gave the suspect an opportunity to attack him. And and so, but if you see somebody standing off in the distance in the parking lot, and your vehicle maybe in that area, delay a little bit, let some other people come out, and then you move toward them. Because see that if you're isolated, that means you're an easy target. And so don't in a situation like that, you feel like your hairs on your back of your neck are standing up, and your spider sense kick in. Go delay a little bit, and let some people go ahead of you. Then you kind of move towards your vehicle. Then because it's always safety with numbers, and and so and not allow yourself to be isolated where somebody can single you out and take advantage of it. It's real important. So just scan the area and see what's going on. I'm saying when I go in, I scan, and when I come out, I scan, and to make sure everything's all right. And when you doing this, a lot of times when you go to unfamiliar places, it's always good to pay attention to what the exercise are and how people are moving on the inside of the place. A lot of times that can clue you to what's going on when things are not right. And so you have to just pay attention to those situations. But and another thing about exit signs, because a lot of people get trapped in buildings, and they don't know how to get out in the event of a fire, or if something goes wrong, you get an active shooter situation. You need to know how to exit. And so, but if you just walking in a big building or anywhere, and you don't pay attention, then you don't know how to exit out. So it's really important that we observe those things and be aware of even in your home. I always everybody exactly where everything is in your house. And so in any event that someone come in, the best thing you do is turn off all the lights. Now they gonna be the one stumbling around, trying to see it, trying to get to turn the light on, and then you can take advantage of it, that way. And so I've always, just love the fact that somebody, come in my house, just make everything go dark and just wait on them, because they, believe it or not, they'll be the ones moving. If you be still, you'll hear them come right to you. And then, you do whatever you got to do to keep yourself safe. And so, but the main, and so in saying that, so everywhere you go, just make sure you understand and where you're surrounded, and always find a way of escape. Meaning, make sure that you understand what the exercise are, and have a general good idea of the layout of whatever building you're in. Because you get in a building and you hadn't paid attention, then something happened, and you don't know which way to go. So it's real important to pay attention to all those little small details. And you may think that it's just something frivolous, but it really makes a difference when your life is on the line. And just think about those things as you're approaching a building or making entry into a building. And another thing, a lot of times when we're shopping during those shopping seasons, when you coming out of a building with a lot of bags and stuff, that you make yourself a target. And even if somebody trying to approach you to ask you for some money or something like that, it'll start off like that, but then it'll escalate from there. But if that's the case, leave your bags on the inside, pull your car closer, and that way you don't have to lug your bags all across the parking lot. And that's just an option you have to keep yourself safe and protect your property. Because like I say, walk across there, with all your bags and stuff holding out your arms, then you can't maneuver if somebody tries to approach it and for bad reason. So you want to make sure that you don't put yourself in a vulnerable position where somebody can take advantage of it. So just be mindful of those things when you shopping and and have a lot of bags in your hand. That's just not a good thing. That you make yourself an easy target. And like I stated earlier, most of those crimes, they just crimes of opportunity. People see you and they think, that's a free pick. Because you make yourself an easy target. And so you got to be mindful of that, when you're in shopping season. And another important thing, when someone is approaching you in the parking lot, maybe asking you for money, the worst thing that you can do is pull out your money in front of a person, and and be fumbling through your money trying to find some ones or something, give it to them. If you feel compelled to do anything for them, go in the store first, tell them I'll take care of you when I come back out, and just put a couple of dollars in another pocket or something, and that way you don't have to pull out your money in front of them. That's only if you feel compelled to do it. Even as a mayor, I don't do that. If somebody asks me for something, if I feel compelled to do it, I say I'll catch you when I come back out. Because it's the easiest thing in the world. Somebody pull out the money and they snatch the whole thing and take off running, and they're gonna take advantage of you that way. So that's why you want to pull out your money in front of people. And because they may ask you, for a couple of dollars or some change, but their ultimate goal is to get whatever they can. So don't allow them to take advantage of you that way, because they will. And it's very important that you be mindful of that. And and a lot of times when you're in situations, maybe coming out a store or something like that, you would feel like someone right, and and so like you see things like something ain't right, and what that is, that's the Holy Spirit just being your guide, and you have to listen to it and trust that He'll guide you in the right direction. And because even sometimes as a police officer and on a SWAT call out or something, when something ain't right, and it's my job to guide the team and tell them which way to go and how we're gonna execute whatever mission is. But when something ain't right, and hold them up, the whole team, and and we have to regroup because it just if it don't feel right, it ain't right. And and I teach them that all the time to pay us attention to your inner self, and and that's just allowing the Holy Spirit to be your guide. Because you can have all the training in the world, and if you don't pay attention to that inner man, you'll go wrong every single time. And and trust me, if you have any type of prayer life, you'll have that feeling because the Holy Spirit will come, but you gotta listen to it. Mm-hmm. You gotta listen to it, and and I can truly say, it's a lot of times I've been in situations where I knew it was nothing but God that helped me out of those situations. Even sometimes with a bunch of police around, it's nothing but the Lord. And so because I've been on SWAT call lights and getting shot at, but still I get quiet, and even when people looking for me to make decisions, stuff like that, I know I got to get quiet here from God. I'll tell them, hold up for a second, but they trust me long enough to know that I'm gonna always make the right decision and get them out of the situation safe. But but I in all of that, all of my training, I still trust God to make to help me make the right decision. My decision, I have a lot of people's lives, in my hands, so I can't afford to make any bad decision. I can't afford to make it a decision in a quick manner, or rash decision rather, and allow anybody on the team to get hurt, because we all a family, and so I've always told them it's my responsibility to make sure that you get back home safe to your family, and the same way with me. And so that's the bond that we have, every time we go on a mission. So I say that, say this, make sure that, you trust your inner man, and make sure that, whenever you're in a situation where you don't feel that it's safe, trust it. That's God just trying to tell you something, and trying to get you to change your route. And when I say that, it made me think about something else. When you're going home, don't always, go the same route all the time. Right. It's very important. They over in Nichols County, that's back over towards Coffee County way, back over that way. They a couple of weeks ago, these guys, they already snatched up one girl. She was in the back of the van, and this one girl, she's still in high school. She was going home, but she noticed these cars, they don't never really being out there in that area because it's out in the rural area, and she seen one vehicle come across in front of her, and she stayed down the dirt road, and it went down the dirt road, but it stopped halfway. So she was kind of hesitated, then she saw another car go down and slow down. So she didn't turn down the road. She called her mom. She went back up toward the gas station, and she called her mom and told her, what had just happened. And so she said, I'm gonna hang up with y'all and call the police. And no, your brother's calling the police now, and you stay at the store. And so when she was at the store, this van came and parked behind her. Then this other car that had gone down the road, it came, finna come back towards me in front of her. And her dad was coming down the road, but by the time he came down the road, the police had already pulled up and surrounded those vehicles. But in the the back of the van, one girl was already tied up in the back, and they made the arrest and caught those guys. This was about 2 weeks ago. But what happened was she been going home the same way, and it just, like I said, they take advantage of it. And so that's why, it's always good to change your route and not always do things the same way, because you don't never know who's watching. And believe me, human trafficking is real, and it go on right here in Georgia, right around us, and you don't hear about it a lot, because a lot of times when they snatch people, and they like, well, we got a missing person, but within hours they out of the country, and that's what, and that it's a huge market for human trafficking, and so that's why it's real important, no matter how young you are, how old you are, to be aware of your surroundings and change your pattern. Don't always do the same thing. Don't always travel the same way. And you have to actually make an effort to make sure that you don't just do the same routine all the time. You have to really push yourself to make an effort. And if you come home on the right side, this way sometimes, swing around, go back around the other way. And just make those efforts, to throw a person off. And I talked about a mental OODA loop in Sunday school last week, but that's what it's called. You interrupt the bad guy mental OODA loop, because he's thinking you're gonna do one thing, but then you do something totally different, and that messes up their psyche. And and so we was doing what we call counter terrorism, and in that's when I learned about the mental OODA loop. Say for instance, if I'm gonna attack Deacon Cox, and so this is an example, and I'm gonna keep looking at it, and so if I'm fixated on it, then I can't see anything out my periphery because I'm fixated on him. And so if you watch a person and they just keep their eyes on you, and so now therefore to break their mental OODA loop, you got to do something different, because they looking for you to do what you always done, because they've already observed. So then you kind of mess up the mental OODA loop. And the other thing is, to us, if it happens, that we know that make them easy to flank. So now, just put out, have somebody to flank them from one side or the other, and that's how we take them down. So, but you gotta know and understand what's going on, and so you gotta be observant to see when somebody is actually fixated on you, and trying to make you a target. And so if when you see that and observe it, get in a mental OODA loop, do something different, and kind of distract them, and get them off the trail. But it's real important. And so, but again, it's just that important to be aware of everything around you at all times. Don't ever make yourself an easy target. And so you gotta continue to move and be observant, and and just always just be aware of what's going on around you. Now, in the event that someone do get up on you, and you don't have a weapon of choice, sometimes keys make good weapons. If the only thing you got, in your hand is some keys, but if you position it right and scrape somebody across the eyes or anywhere in the face, they're gonna respond to it. But and when you do it, you can't just do it one time. That'll do nothing, because they're gonna react to it, and then, respond to it. But when you make a motion, then you got to stay aggressive, until the threat is gone away. And, and so what I mean by that is because, we watch TV a lot of times, and, things that happen on TV, believe it or not, we actually do it in reality, because they, someone attack you, and, maybe you hit them with something, and they go down, and then they take out running, instead of, staying on them and really beat them until they can't get up, because believe it or not, if they attack you, then they tend to do your body the harm. When you get an opportunity, you got to do that same body the harm to them, and explain it the same way, and with black people, for whatever reason, we go and try to change the whole situation, but you don't have to. The law protects you when you protecting yourself. And so, and explain it just like that, and so whatever happened, explain to them what happened. You don't have to change it or anything, and even, it's crazy because, some police officers, they don't go to jail for what they did. They go to jail because they tried to make it right, and so, but you don't have to do that. And, explain what happened, why you did what you did, you're good. But, you try to make sure that it's good. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all. And it's real important. And not only keys, but also I always keep a metal ink pen with me. And, they make the best weapons. And, even when, because you can't have weapons and stuff on the plane, but a metal ink pen, they always approve it through TSA. And, that's one of the best weapons that we can have because it's metal all the way around, and, and you can stick it in a person's ear, nose, up under here, the soft tissue, and, and you can really do, some great bodily harm. And when I say that, because if a person is trying to take your life, you got to use whatever you have to protect yourself. And when you get that opportunity, because they already gonna be up on you, start, stick them and don't stop, and don't stop until they're on the ground. And so, and that's called eliminating the threat. And so you gotta eliminate the threat. And and so, and if it happens, use the same terms that I'm using now. And you ain't gotta add to it, you don't have to take away. No, I didn't stab him, I just eliminated the threat. I continued to stick him until he stopped. And so, and say it just like that. And you'll be justified. Another thing, and believe it or not, we just a regular magazine, and if you roll it up real tight and hold their hand, so it's gonna be about like that. It's just like having a metal baton. It's equal to it, but you have to roll it tight. And it's the same thing as having a metal baton. And when you start hit them upside the head, don't stop until you eliminate the threat. It's real important because I'm telling you, they trying to do you body harm. You gotta protect yourself. You gotta protect yourself. And and that's the thing. That you always have a right to protect your life and somebody else's life. And so, if you get in a situation where, let me start by saying this first, because I got a lot of women make this mistake. This is a plastic gun, the plastic gun. I knew y'all thought I was gonna pull out my own gun. This is a plastic gun got from a little first grader. But a lot of women make the mistake of threatening, with a gun. If the only way that you should use a gun, if someone is threatening your life or the life of somebody else, and so by law, if that happens, you justify in using weapons. But only no situation should you pull a gun, and you know, never pull a gun and don't use it. So therefore, you don't to make a threat. That's not a good thing to do, because if this situation present itself, if someone is trying to do you bodily harm, or you know a third party bodily harm, then by law, let me say great bodily harm, because just bodily harm in and of itself is not, that don't justify you by using deadly force. But if a person is trying to do great bodily harm on somebody, which means render them render any body parts of them useless, not useless, but helpless. And so then you're justified in using deadly force. Words starting running together. Then you're justified in using deadly force, but you want to first, make sure that the situation presents itself. But the point I want to make is, don't ever pull a gun to threaten somebody. If you had to pull a gun, the situation present itself. The worst thing a lot of people do is bring a gun to a gunfight, and then somebody take it and use it on you. And it happens a lot, because when you pull it, I just want to scare them off. But if you're not ready to use it, then don't pull it, because when you pull it, you got to be ready to use it. And what you don't want to do is ever do like this right here. And so you have no stability. If you ever, and retention of a weapon is the most important thing about having a weapon. And what I mean by retention is not allowing somebody to take it from you. And so a lot of times, we make the mistake of, if D gets a threat, then I got to come all the way up on him. I feel I got to come up on him and shoot him. No, keep distance between you. Distance is your friend. And so, and that way you can still articulate even after you pull the weapon, and the person still try to engage you, and now you shot him to keep him from hurting you. And so, and I'm using the correct language, because as black people, that's what we mess up a lot. We don't use the right lingo when we're in court, and and so the prosecutor or the other defense attorney, they easily turn our words around and use them against them. But when you use the right lingo and say it the correct way, they can't change it, but you got to stick with what you say. And so, therefore, that the correct lingo is when I gave them the command to stop, they continued. I felt my life was in danger, so I used deadly force, and or I used the force that was necessary to stop their aggression towards me. And so they justify all day long.
At that point, does it matter where you shoot?
And if you have to shoot them, and I've seen situations where people just shoot a person one time, but a lot of times, even police officers shoot a person, they don't die, or they still are coming towards you because you hadn't hit a vital organ, so they're still able to respond. So in that situation, and like when we train officers, you shoot to the threat, it's not a threat anymore. And so you have to boom, boom, continue to shoot, so they're not a threat anymore. It's real important, and we say it, but you got to be able to explain it as well. So therefore, you because you can use too much force also. And we'll look at it as too much force. When you shot a person, then you stand over and then finish that's too much force. And so you you have to explain. Well, they say, well, we can understand why, you know, you shot him 2 times in the chest, he's down. And then, but what about the shots in his head? Oh, well, I shot him again when he got. See, that's too much. That's too much. And so you won't be in trouble for the initial shooting, but you're going to be in trouble for the ones that when they was down. Now, that's the same way for a citizen, and it holds the same for a police officer. Everybody going to be judged by that same law. Everybody going to be judged. Yes, sir.
I was gonna,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna ask a question now. If somebody in your yard, or in your backyard or whatever, and you ask them to leave there out there at night or something like that now, do you have to wait till they come in the house?
That's a good question, Dick. And the thing is whether or not they have a weapon, and do they have a means to use it. And say for instance, is that, you know, say for instance, you know, you're in my yard, but you know, you got a knife, but you're outside. So at that point, I'm not justified in shooting. But now, but once you try to come in, then I'm justified. And so, but now if you was out there, you know, with a gun, so now you got the means and the opportunity by you just being out there. So yeah, now I can use that force to stop you. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, that sounds good. I was just wondering, you know, like sometimes they might not have them, but you don't want, they won't still kind of push in your house. So you have to wait till they get all the way in, then
Only if they have a weapon.
if they have a weapon.
Have a weapon. Because they got the, because if they don't have a weapon, which means that at that point they don't have the means nor an opportunity to cause you anybody to harm. But if they had, like say, a gun, then they got the means to cause you body harm from the outside. But you know, if they don't, then if you don't see one, at that point, no, you're not justified. Now, only if they make an attempt to come in. Because once they make an attempt to come in, then that's burglary, which they've already committed a felony. And then, you know, you can use whatever force necessary to protect, you know, yourself and your family. And so, yeah, but if they don't have the means, you know, nor the ability to carry out, you know, whatever threat, then, you know, so you can't use deadly force on them. That's right.
What if you have a no trespassing on private property sign and they're out there?
That's not, that, you know, that's a warning, but gotta keep in mind, just trespassing is just a misdemeanor. And so therefore, you can't, just because you got a no trespassing sign, that doesn't give you the right to use that for. And something else has to take place with that. You know, even if, you know, you step to the door and say, hey, you know, you trespass, you know, you need to leave. And they say, well, I ain't going nowhere. That's what, nah, you can't shoot it. You know? But, you know, it's, now, Georgia don't have state ground. In Florida, believe it or not, in that situation, you justify the shooting, but not in Georgia. And so you have to keep that in mind. You know, that Georgia is not justified. Now, if let's say for instance they do, you know, they already in your house, and maybe you you let them in or something, but then, you know, things go bad, and they you say, hey, you want to go ahead and leave my house? You say, I'm not leaving that, you know, and I ain't going nowhere. You know, well, just tell her, I feel threatened. I feel like, you know, you're threatening my life at this point. You need to leave. And if they don't leave at that point, you justify. And, but now you have to give them opportunity. If they don't have a weapon.
Well, if you come home and somebody already in there, you have to give them a chance to come out.
Whatever.
So like you keep using the terms ability, opportunity, and jeopardy.
Yeah.
So do they have the ability? Do they have the opportunity to hurt you? Like if they have a knife and they want to throw it, that's the opportunity, right? But then are you in jeopardy? Is your life in jeopardy? If it's in jeopardy, now you can act. But you gotta have all three.
Gotta have all three. Gotta have all three. It's important.
I don't know if you covered this, but I noticed I used to, when I would take Jazz somewhere, you talk about surroundings. Sometimes it take little children so long to get in the car, and so you looking around, it's dust dark, you feeling uncomfortable. So what I had to start doing, I couldn't get in there fast enough because they want to get in and walk around and do some other stuff before you're trying to buckle them up. So I just started putting her in the car, locking the door, and pushing the seat back and buckling her because it was taking me too long outside.
Especially when in a low light situation, it's very important to move kind of expeditiously and go ahead and get out harm's way. In low light situation where you can't see your whole surroundings,
right.
You gotta move kind of fast. But like if you go in the store and it was daylight when you went in, you come back out, then it's kind of getting kind of dark, or it's dark. At that point, what I would suggest slowing down and scan, your surrounding first before you move on out, and then even if you just ain't feeling that something ain't all the way right, kind of slow around for somebody else is coming, and then like I say, move out in numbers. I always had the numbers on your side. And so you gotta, if you feel like it ain't right, it ain't right. And so slow down, let somebody else, walk out there with you, and that way, you don't put yourself in harm's way.
The other thing you were talking about your surroundings, routine. When she was like 3 years old and staying with me, and in the morning time we walk down the road. It's just the two of us. I'm just giving you examples of things that I came to my mind. And so one day we were walking, going the same way. The man was down to the end of the road in his truck, and he was just sitting there. So I had to think. I'm like, I'm here in my neighborhood. There's not a lot of traffic, not a lot of people moving around. So here I am, 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock, walking. That wasn't safe. Because nobody would have heard me if I had hollered. So I had to stop walking down the road, like that, unless I had somebody else with me at that time. So you're right. That was a routine. I don't know if he was sitting down there waiting for us to come, but that's the way I felt.
Right.
When I saw it, and it didn't. I stood on the porch for a while, and the car never moved, and he wasn't doing anything. So I was just saying that to say, even in our homes, we sometimes we do things routinely, and we don't ever know who's watching.
So you have to break those routines, and you have to be mindful of it. If you walk this way, sometimes walk the other way the next time. And if you break those routines, that then you get in the middle of Udaloo. And so, because if a person is really trying to observe you and see how you move, you got to move differently. And you have to make it a practice to move differently. And and so it's nothing wrong with even when you come home sometime, pass by your house and come back and look at it from a different side. Especially when you feel like it just ain't right. Pass on by and come back.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, before you got that liquor pulled up all in the house back over there in that wrong spot back there. Used to be some parked in cars sitting over there. Now I seen that. Be over there. I don't park over there no more. When I was going, I don't go there. I don't park over there no more. Kind of careful. You might want to wait till the crime come out.
Yeah,
Being able to see it.
in that situation, when a lot of places, particularly when you're out of town, and you're not familiar, with the area, and like most of the game, they start in the daylight, being it's dark when you come back out. You have to be, real mindful of your surroundings then. And if you're not, with a group of people, I would suggest that, you go out there, alone. And a good practice in that situation would be, whatever officer standing right, I'm parked over there, light when I came in, it's dark now, would you make sure you escort me, to my vehicle. We have an obligation at that point to do what you're asking us to do. It's not a choice, it's an obligation. And so don't allow them to tell you something otherwise. Because now we do have, some that kind of lazy than others, so that's why, you have to know that it's their obligation at this point to make sure that you're safe. And so don't allow them to tell you anything otherwise. That's really important, good point, D. And because a lot of times, we see it happening, and because we can't be everywhere at the same time. But now, when you say, hey, I specifically asked, the officers to escort me, and so we know what the law says. We know what our obligations are as well, and so we got to make sure that a person that doesn't feel safe, walking to that vehicle. And so that's our obligation to make sure that happens. Make sure that you ask about it to escort you to your vehicle.
And when I was talking about the children, and just walking, I'm talking about snatching up children. And it wasn't so much about me, it was about.
He get both of y'all. He got a bumper.
Yeah, they gonna knock me out to get the child. They don't want me, but.
Okay, it's like in the morning, like this morning, I noticed, I always sit on the push with my grandkids when they get out to go catch the bus. This morning, it's getting a little darker now, and the kids, I would, be able to catch the bus, and I have one that catches right in front of the house, and I sit right there and watch it. Then I got another one that be on the corner, but I called the city to try to cut the bush down if that I could see from here to the corner, but they still hadn't came out or hadn't said, I don't know who to talk to, but that's not good because it's finna get dark. And these kids got to go out for school. So what kind of, need to do on, because I'm crazy like that, because I have compulsive behaviors. I ain't gonna, if I see you trying to touch one of my grandchildren or a child, I ain't gonna act, I'm just gonna tell them to move and I'm gonna do what I have to do. That might not be the right way, but what is it we can do to prevent that?
I would just continue to contact someone with the city about cutting down the bushes, but then until they do, and the fact that it is getting, I think time's supposed to change or it's supposed to change, I don't know, but it is getting it is dark at that time, because a lot of times you have to be to work at 7 and it's still dark, when I'm coming out 6:45, 6:50, and still a little dark, and it's getting darker each day. And so, it's a real concern. And, so not only you had it, it's a lot of people facing those situations, and but it's a real issue. And so, until things change, though, you have to kind of just step out to where you can see to make sure. And like I say, if someone attack them, you whatever force necessary to take care of, and you be justified in doing so. But because it's real, and and people are really, and because they look at kids as soft targets, and so so hard to take care of them, when they're in the school. And because they look at, schools and malls as soft target, and it's easy to take advantage of multiple people in those areas like that, different places.
With the new open and carrying on, has that decreased crime any or is increased?
Depending on what study you look at. But no, it's really neither. It's the same. It had from our aspect, 'cause the bad guys still got the same number of guns they had. The good guys still got the same number of guns they had, and it doesn't add to nor take away. And so because a gun in and of itself, it can sit on this thing right here and never fire. It's only when it's in the hands of the person that it's gonna fire. And so whether they licensed to carry it or not, it's still the same thing. And so it's all about the decisions that the individual make. It ain't, but I have seen a lot of situations where, if where scary people shouldn't have guns no kind of way, because they feel like they feel like the first thing they do, if somebody, if they have a disagreement with a person, first thing they do, stick the gun right there. But they use it as a threat, because they really don't want to get into no physical altercation. But and so, and at the same time, like I was talking about gun retention, now the other person that have a gun, so now they just introduce the gun, don't have no intention of using it, and then and the other person like, oh, you gonna pull a gun on me? You gonna shoot me? So now they walk all the way up on them and snatch. And so that's why I say, if you don't have no intention of using it, don't put it. Because if you introduce it and don't have no intention of using it, you just trying to threaten the person, then they gonna take it and use it on you. I've seen, no, they ain't justified, but you introduce something and then have no intention of using it, you was gonna threaten them with it, and but you don't have. You gotta have, if you gonna have one, you gotta have the heart to use it, but you don't use it to threaten anybody. If you present a gun, like we talked about, ability, opportunity, all of those three components has to present itself. Then you present your weapon and use it. But if that person had the ability to do you bodily harm and put your life in jeopardy and the opportunity, then you can pull your gun and use it. But do not pull it and threaten for no reason. That's the worst thing a person can ever do. Because now you presented a gun, you had no intention of using it, and person crazy enough to come up on you, they're going to take it and use it on you. We see that happen more often than that.
Oh, you don't get a pistol.
yeah, they don't shoot it like I said, they take it a pistol whip.
Yeah, so.
And then they keep their gun. And so, and a lot of times, believe it or not, the victim of that, they feel so ashamed, they don't report it to the police. Sometimes they do, a lot of times they don't. And, so it happens too often. It happens a lot, to be honest with you. And that's why, I tell everybody, if you're going to pull one, and, that's what me and my oldest son, Maurice, when he first talked about, he wanted to carry a gun, and that's the talk that I had with him, that was the only thing that I was afraid of with him. You just wanted to scare somebody, that's the wrong reason. And so we talked about, how to retain it, if you had, pull it, and and how to use it and when to use it, because that's if you don't know and understand that, you don't have one. Because you're going to do yourself more harm than good. But you got to understand, those facts. Yes.
I got a self-defense question. So, don't have a gun, maybe you're being attacked. Name like maybe 3 moves as a person with no weapon, nothing on me that I could do to keep myself from being abducted or kidnapped. Or I know I could scream.
The best thing is distance.
But if they have me, do I drop, like I've seen people say, drop to the floor? You're heavier than, like if they're trying to pick you up.
If you know, and one of my, you know, I hope this makes sense to our women, you know, because they, if a person my size, you know, and with most of you females in here, I would have a problem with picking y'all up off the floor and doing whatever I need to do with you. So that wouldn't work in that situation. You know, and I always, you know, for any defense, you know, tactic, the best defense is not let somebody get all the way up on you. Just like, you know, if this table was the only thing, you know, separate me and Deke, we'll go around this table all night until, you know, he can't, you know, get me. And so, and that's why I say, you know, be aware of your surroundings. So if you see somebody approaching you, get some distance. And, you know, and another thing, you know, even with, if come here for a second, dude. If I'm a smaller person and Dick a bigger person, if I put a gun right here, well, if I try to, he can grab my arm. He can grab it. If he's stronger than I am, now I introduced it and he can take it. But now, if I got this much space, now make it move toward me. Now I can come back. Now I can put it and use it. So distance is the best thing that you can ever have. You got to always, and what we call it is reaction time. Always keep yourself some reaction space. And you know, and so if even with, you know, that's why I don't talk a whole lot about defense and tactic, because you know, any female in here throw a punch at a bigger guy, you can hit as hard as you can, it ain't gonna affect you. And so the same thing, because if my adrenaline is flowing and your adrenaline is flowing, when people get hit and their adrenaline flowing, there's very few times they're gonna feel it. But now, just say for instance, if a smaller person, a type of person, my size, and you know, I hit them, I don't care how much adrenaline they got, they going down. So that makes a difference. So physical size and ability make a whole lot of difference when you're talking about defensive tactics. You know, and so I seen this guy, big white dude, he rocked up, he had just got out of boot camp, and him and little buddies, they were riding around drinking, and I was a manager at Arby's at the time, and his brother, and I didn't know he was a black belt at the time. He had just finished eating, he going out to his car, and they rode by and yelled out, you know, some racial slurs, and he said something back to him, so he turned around, and they came back to approach him. The dude, he had just, you know, got out of military boot camp, Marine Corps boot camp, and he ran up on the dude like, what'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say? He was like, man, y'all better go ahead and leave. Oh, we better not do that. And so, brother, he kicked off his loafers, and he said, man, I told you I better go ahead and leave. So when he bladed his body like that, and his friend like, get him up, get him, whatever they call him. So he squared up on the boy, and the dude, the brother roundhouse and kicked him, bam! The dude backed up. They said, watch his feet, man, watch his feet. And so the dude came, and the dude spent the other way, pow, kicked him again. And man, watch his feet. Man, I'm watching his feet. He keep kicking him. But and after that, the dude like, all right, man, I'm sorry. And he reached out like this, and the brother grabbed his hand, and he kicked him on that side of his face, this side of his face, that side of his face, turned him. And the brother went and got his car and left. But the next time I saw it, he was working in one of the stores in the mall. He was a manager there, and I seen him at work. I said, man, why I thought I had to come out there and help. And dude, like I had that. I said, man, you know, I didn't know you was that good. He said, man, I studied Taekwondo all of my life. But you know, in that sense, the white guy was way bigger than he was, but he was a black belt. And so if you don't have just continuous training, keep a person away from you. And that's the best defense you can have. Best defense you can have. You know, because in that situation, you know, size and training, it makes a whole lot of difference. Whole lot of difference. You know, even with dealing with, you know, kids, you know, when you know, you see all kind of videos where, you know, resource officers being attacked by kids and things of that nature. A lot of them, believe it or not, don't train. They don't stay in the weight room. They don't keep themselves up. And so these kids, they stay, you know, 16, 17, 18. They're the ones you're dealing with on a regular basis. And, you know, so you don't stay in shape. And so you get a physical altercation with one, they don't take advantage of it. And that's why, that's the thing that motivates me to stay in the weight room and stay, you know, in shape, because I don't allow myself to be a free pick. And so I make sure, and you know, and I try to encourage, you know, the other officers to do the same thing, but you know.
Is that not mandatory annually?
No, it should be. You know, that's something that's been ingrained in me since I started 32 years ago. But the officers don't do that. You know, and so and you make yourself a target, and you know, but you got to take care of yourself. And but the point I was making though, even as officers, you know, a lot of them I tell them, you know, don't engage, you know, anybody, you know, just with your bare hands. That's why you have pepper spray, you have aspartame, you know, use those things to your advantage. But, you know, use them as defense, not offense though. You know, so you don't go and pick fight, then use those things, you know, on a person at that point. You know, and so it's very important that, you know, you understand the context in which you have to use those things in, because those are defensive weapons, not offensive. Makes a lot of difference, especially when you have to go to court.
Would you recommend that as ladies especially, that we have one of those?
Yeah, get some mates. You know, that's something special. If you're on the vest end, get some of that good stuff. That, you know, and so, but be, you know, and be mindful of, you know, the good stuff. You don't have to get all the way up on a person. You know, the distance between men, profit giving, you can use it and spread the good stuff. You can spread from that distance right there. So that way you still got that reaction gap. You know, so if you invest in something, use that.
Can you buy bear spray?
Say again?
Can you buy bear spray?
I don't know how that affect you, though.
No, I'm talking about the stuff that they were spraying at the people at the incident. On the people there, they were spraying with the bear spray.
But I know that pepper spray is the best, you know, and because it burns intense for I know 8 hours. You had a question?
So if somebody, like, let's say maybe they just come up to you like they have your what is the best option for you to do with like the Bible? Like if they were to come up to you like you just didn't know, they came up with you and you have them like
Did you bite them? If they grab you.
if they grab your mouth and you didn't know and they grabbed you.
Yeah.
If you had no weapon or nothing, what would you do?
Yeah, you use whatever
Like
you
they
can.
trying to cover up your mouth?
Yeah.
You use whatever you can to get away from it. And you know, if it takes that and it works, do it. Yeah. And but yeah, you gotta really, you know, do that. And but if you get an opportunity to knee them or kick them in the groins, take advantage. Because that's gonna give you an opportunity to get away. And you know, and so, but you know, not only that though, if once they react, then you know, you got to give them more than that. You know, and like I say, you know, eliminate the threat, because if you don't have the means of actually getting all the way out of the area, you got to just go ahead and take them out. Unless you have the means of just you right there by your vehicle or something like that and jump in and go. But if not, you got to finish them off. You know, and don't give them an opportunity to recover and then, you know, attack you again, because then you put yourself in a bad situation. I pray that I've answered, you know, all your questions and concerns, and you know, because our motto as police officers, well, I should say, our SWAT team motto, you know, that we bust ours to save yours, and so, and that's really the creed that I've lived by for 17 years, you know, and making sure that I stay, you know, in shape to make sure that, you know, because the thing is, when regular citizens in trouble, they call the police, but when the police in trouble, they call the SWAT team, and so we got to be ready to do whatever it takes to take care of the situation, you know, because when we get called out, it's never a good situation. Never a good situation. But we always turn it good. We always turn it good, you know, it no matter what it is. And, you know, and our thing is, it ain't to take someone's life, you know, if they don't want to give it. But it's to have a positive means all the time. Now, that's the team that I've been leading for the last 14 years, you know, because, you know, every situation they have to end is somebody lose their life. You know, we try not to do that. And, you know, that's why, you know, it's called special weapons and tactics. We try to use those special non-lethal weapons that we have to do that with. And so we'll use all of that we have at our disposal before we, you know, do something deadly. And, you know, so you have to take advantage of that. You know, and that's the thing that we try to do. And so we get called out a lot, you know, to barricaded situation where, you know, person, you know, shot at somebody, you know, talking about they ain't going to jail and stuff like that. You know, and we got ways of changing their mind, you know, without taking their life. And, you know, we've done it tons of times. And, you know, and so we, you know, that's what we try to do. You know, and so, but there have been some situations where, you know, it wasn't so positive. But, you know, that's what we have to do. But it takes a mindset to do that. And, you know, and even we have some people that can't do it, you know, but we put them off the team. But, you know, that's what you are, when you become a part of the team, that's the obligation you accept. And so in order to keep everybody safe, and, you know, sometimes you have to do some things that, you know, you don't want to do. But, you know, that's what you train for. And that's what we trained for today. You know, we had trial today. And we got 3 or 4 new people that's coming on the team. Yeah, because I'm coming off. I'm getting ready to retire like that. Thank y'all again. Thank you.
Opportunity to come up for just a minute. I know that this was a part of what she saw necessity, and I think it was after the Carly Russell. I think I talked to you after that had happened, and because I was like, I probably, you know, if that had been a real situation, what would I have done? And so I think I picked up on some things tonight. Just be alert, be aware, call for help. If it's just you, then, you know, get help. Because I would probably thought if I was really in that situation, I probably would have gotten out. Because I see a child, it would have been just a natural reaction. But can't do that in this day and time. So I appreciate the safety course.
In that situation, yeah, the best thing to do is call, you know, because or you could, you know, try and put your vehicle in a position where you keep the child safe and not get out the vehicle. And, you know, so, if the child, can come to the vehicle, then, you know, by you positioning the vehicle and not putting yourself out there. Because that is, some people do flat traps like that, and, you know, but you gotta, know, again, how to get in the middle of Ulu. So I would probably, turn and put the vehicle in a position where the child's on the driver's side. You know, if they unsafe, you know, if they really can come with you, put them in, keep driving. Then you go to the next public spot, and then as you call the police. But you don't get out your vehicle. Yeah, that's thing. You know, anytime you're on the highway and you know in areas that you're not familiar with, don't get out your vehicle and don't give people a ride. You know, and that's really important. That's something, you know, even before I became a police officer, I didn't do it, and I definitely had done assistant to a police officer. That, you know, some people are not, they're mean you to harm, but you don't know. And so, the best way you ever do you and your family good service by not feeling prepared that you have to do that.
Yeah, I was at my mailbox, and somebody before I went nowhere, went alert, do what I normally do, read my mail a little bit while I'm at the mailbox instead of driving on. And before I knew it, white man had walked up on me, asking me had I seen puppy, and I felt in my heart it wasn't right. And I rolled up my window really quickly and went on into the garage, but that could have gone either way, because I think I told you about that, because I just felt like he wasn't up to no good.
But you see, that's the whole.
But I want to alert you.
And then you just go on, and see, you don't owe them you don't owe them the right to be polite to them at that point. You know, just go.
I just rolled up with him.
Yeah, keep on going.
Okay.
That had never happened to me.
Thanks again to Pastor for allowing us to take Wednesday night. I think you can hear you to come out and talk to the women and even give some men some pointers on tonight. And I don't know if you addressed it or not about when women are out, and sometimes after you get in the vehicle, rather than locking your doors, I know most people got updated vehicles now where when you put the vehicle in reverse, the door is locked. But I don't give my vehicle time to do all of that. I usually lock my doors when I get inside. Because if you sitting there, a split second, somebody else can be in the vehicle with you. And I know it was a lot of situations going on with people pulling up to gas stations. And when they get out, people slip in on the other side, either they stealing their purses. I try to keep my vehicle doors locked. And I unlock my driver's side. If everything unlocked, once I unlock my gas tank, I lock the doors back to make sure nobody else can. I mean, I just try to be very cautious when I'm out. But I really appreciate you, and you need to tell us where we can get some good pepper spray.
I want some back.
Okay.
What you say?
I was saying, order on that.
Oh.
I just want him to come out and talk to the women, because sometimes we just get so busy and into what we're doing and we're not paying attention to what's around us, and we really need to be aware of our surroundings. Thanks again.
I got this question. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, if somebody, let's just say one of the children, one of the teens, was on target. These people,
I can do this with you.
But then I turn around.
you're through. Hold your head